So this is my last response video. The final video will be coming soon. So these are some questions in response to my fourth vlog after I had been to placement for the last time. The first question is how might you take this set of values forward and implement them into your practice? This is relating to how I was talking about not underestimating children and treating them as they are, as people, not just little people, like people who have ideas and understandings about things that I might not, or they might see things in a different way than I do, and it's very important to be respectful of that. So, implementing these into my practice, I think I'll be a lot more aware of the questions I'm asking, and really, like in one of, I can't remember, I don't think it was this class that we're in now, I think it was in a different class, but we were talking about not not asking questions where the kids think that you have one right answer in your mind and they're just answering to impress you. It's like you're actually asking a question so that they can learn, or they can really consider like what the answer means to them, and not answering it to please you, but answering it so that they can learn, and either like succeed, fail, whatever, but it's for them. It's not for the teacher to be like, oh, I'm teaching them well because they answered my question correctly. So I think the question answering will really impact. I think encouraging students to ask questions before I like make assumptions or conclusions about the things that we're learning. I think like really finding out how they are engaging in the material that we're dealing with and going off of that, like kind of directing their learning, and kind of scaffolding a little bit, or helping to organize their thoughts, helping them to come to conclusions about what they're learning, instead of me kind of directing it all from the beginning and then letting them explore or learn for themselves. The second question is, what has been the biggest challenge for you throughout this process? How and in what ways has your teaching practice developed throughout these past 8 weeks? And I think, going off of what I was talking about from the very beginning is the role thing. Like, where do I fit in here? And it's been interesting for me because I didn't, like, my role wasn't to be fully in charge of these classes throughout. Like, I was given some opportunity to take a leadership role, but it was never my job to lead the classes. And so that was kind of tricky for me to like figure out, how I was supposed to interact with the kids, kind of. And like I had some idea, but just like what was kind of appropriate in this situation, not kind of being overbearing, and like uh, not being overbearing, not like being too controlling, but also not stepping away too much, like being involved enough. I think that was the main challenge, just because it was such a short amount of time for me to establish myself within this community. So I think that was my biggest thing. How and in what ways has your teaching practice developed over these past 8 weeks? Um, well, I think for me, I learned a little bit more how to interact with kids at an older age, because as I've said before, my experience at camp has been mostly with kids who are 6 to 12 years old. Um, and so we had some grade 7s in camp, but not many. So I think interacting in band with those older-ish kids was really helpful for me. Um, and my teaching practice, how has it developed? Yeah, I think from what I was talking about at the beginning of this video, like not leaving room or not allowing room, because that's like it sounds like I'm the one, I have all the power to decide that, but I think really encouraging, I guess, kids to explore for themselves and make conclusions and interact with material for themselves. I think that's really important. Not underestimating them. Yeah, those are my big takeaways, at least from this final week, and I'm going to go into that a lot more in my final video. So that's my scatterbrained answer to those questions, but hopefully they'll be a little bit more refined for my final video.